Infrastructure as code is one of the most important concepts in DevOps practice. It helps in the management of infrastructure such as networks, virtual machines, load balancers, and connection topology. The management is done using a descriptive model, using the same versioning tools as the DevOps team use for source code. Infrastructure as code solves the problem of environment drift. Over time, each environment becomes unique and it cannot be reproduced automatically. These inconsistencies between environments can result in issues at deployment, security vulnerabilities, and risks when deploying applications and services that need to meet strict regulatory compliance standards. Administration and maintenance of infrastructure involve manual processes that contribute to errors and are hard to track. Infrastructure as code solves these problems with the principle of idempotency. Idempotency is the property of particular mathematics and computer science operations whereby they can be applied multiple times without changing the result beyond the initial application. The deployment command always sets the target environment into the same configuration described in the provisioning script. This way, we always end up with the same configuration regardless of the environment's starting state. Idempotency is achieved in two ways, either by automatically configuring an existing target or by discarding the existing target and recreating a new environment. The configuration of the model is typically done in code formats such as JSON or YAML. The release pipeline executes the model and creates a target environment. All changes to the environments are made by editing the source model and by starting the release pipeline, not directly on the target environment. On the first hand, this practice could look a bit more complicated, but in the end, it eliminates configuration drift and makes all your environments consistent. With this approach, it is also easier to maintain and track infrastructure versions and confidently roll back to any previous version. Let's compare mutable and immutable infrastructure. Mutable infrastructure can be modified after it is provisioned initially. This gives your team the possibility to make ad hoc service configurations to meet particular urgent needs. The problem with this approach is the environment drift that can happen over time. Immutable infrastructure cannot be modified after it is provisioned initially. If immutable infrastructure needs to change, it has to be replaced with a new infrastructure. This way, the problem of environment drift is eliminated. Infrastructure as code helps dramatically speed up provisioning and scaling of infrastructure for development, testing, and production. Infrastructure as code helps eliminate configuration drift that occurs when making ad hoc changes to the environments. All your environments can be kept consistent all the time. By speeding up infrastructure provisioning and ensuring infrastructure consistency, infrastructure as code helps make an efficient software delivery lifecycle. Together with other benefits, infrastructure as code also helps organizations to take advantage of the consumption cost model in cloud computing. AWS CloudFormation is a tool created for the management of AWS resources through modeling. It helps provision and updates AWS resources in an orderly and predictable fashion by using automated procedures described as models in the CloudFormation template language, YAML or JSON. Aws Opsworks is a configuration management service that uses Chef. Chef is an automation platform that treats server configurations as code. Opsworks uses Chef to automate server configuration, deployment, and management across Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2 instances, or any on-premises compute environments. AWS Systems Manager is a management service that helps define and track system configurations, prevent drift, and maintain software compliance of EC2 and on-premises configurations. It collects software inventory, applies OS patches, creates system images, and configures Windows and Linux operating systems. AWS Config is a fully managed service that helps enable security and governance. It provides an AWS resource inventory, configuration history, and change notifications.